Welcome to the 2021 Select Series. This is a group of virtual customer meetings that we're bringing you this year. This segment is going to feature some of Select Sire's highest selling bulls, which also happen to be some of the breed's best bulls for the Dollar Maternal Index. Starting off, we have with us today Joe Myers, who is our Angus sire analyst, and also with me is Brian House, who's our Vice President of Beef Programs. Joe, would you like to start off and tell us just a little bit about the Rainfall Bull that not only leads off our sire directory, but is also one of the high-selling bulls at Select Sires?
Yeah, Rainfall is an amazing bull. I just had the opportunity to see him at the bull stud just a day or two ago, and he's actually probably one of the most structurally correct, amazing bulls in terms of phenotype that we have. But in terms of what he's doing from a genetic standpoint, he's a cow maker bull, high maternal bull that hits a lot of marks on the $M that Angus provides us. Very good for foot quality, very consistent in terms of siring moderate frame, deep bodied, slick haired cattle that perform really, really well. He's out of a powerful cow and a flush that one of the most historic flushes that's been sold at South Angus Valley. We're glad we got him. He's the one that is kind of the balanced trait bull that puts it all together. I really believe that with the cow power behind him from his dam and the maternal traits from his sire, we found the bull with the perfect blend. A lot of people have used him successfully on heifers. And sometimes when he's put on the right cow, you can get some added performance out of him. The cattle are not small in terms of performance, and you can really lift it if you need to. So a bull that does a lot of things right, I think now that we got daughters coming into production, it's where he's really going to shine.
Awesome. And the bull that's across the page from him in the sire directory and would be another one of our high-selling bulls is Tehama Tahoe. And, you know, Tahoe, when you look at his EPD profile, he ranks in the top 25% of the breed for almost every single EPD that we measure, whether that's calving ease, growth, maternal traits, terminal traits, probably one of the most balanced trait and complete bulls in the entire Angus population. One of the things I love the most about Tahoe is that he is one of those bulls that truly combines not only a really nice script from an EPD standpoint, but also phenotypically, I think is one of the most complete bulls in the breed and sires a lot of consistency in terms of moderate framed cattle that have well above average capacity, muscle shape, width of base. He's a bull that, you know, has moved around maybe a little bit for foot EPDs, but right now he's right at breed average for both claw and angle. He adds marbling and ribeye area. And yet I think, you know, phenotype is one of his greatest strengths. The sons are very easy to sell. We've brought quite a few of those into our lineup, and there were lots of them that topped sales last spring. And I would anticipate that will happen again this spring as well. And then as we get daughters in production, udder quality, foot quality, disposition. You know, I think one of the neat things is they just came out with a hair shedding EPD. He's actually one of the bulls, or one of the breed's best bulls in terms of what it looks like. You know, he's going to be very good for some of those environments where there's fescue and they need to shed. So a bull that I think is going to continue to do a lot of things right, has a lot of places that can be used to fix, I think, you know, females that need some more dimension, and some of these other traits that we're looking at, like feet and udders.
And I'll add to that, Lorna, and it's come to me just recently, but I think in terms of a bull that really does everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, we work with a lot of bulls, and we have over the years, but Tahoe has settled into a place where we can almost count on him to do about anything we ask, and our customers are realizing that. So it's been fun to work with a bull like that.
Yeah, and kind of along that line, another bull that I think you know, has really gained a lot of popularity because of phenotype is Playbook. Joe does a lot of the same things that Tahoe does phenotypically.
Yeah, Playbook is actually one of my favorite bulls that we have, and the reason is his daughters. They're just phenomenal, and we've got a lot of progeny data on Playbook. We've seen a lot of cattle. He consistently sires excellent phenotype or improves phenotype, maybe as good as any bull in our lineup. But more important to me on that is you get these elegant daughters. They're beautiful uddered. They're really good structured. They look like they're just going to last forever. They seem to shed well. They're cattle that just, no matter what state of the country you see them in, people really like them. He's, now that he's settled into his data, what we do know 100% about Playbook is he's a great heifer bull. Mm-hmm. So when you are talking about some cattle that you might want to reduce the birth weight or use on heifers or use on some cattle that are very much higher in terms of growth EPD, he serves as a great purpose as a heifer bull, but then you're going to be putting those daughters back and making them very useful. Not to say that the bulls aren't very marketable, because they are, because most of his sons end up being heifer bulls to sell your customers, and you know they're going to make replacement daughters. So bull with a lot of use and a lot of purpose, but phenotype and the maternal, he ranks high on dollar maternal, but you can actually translate it from the paper to the pasture. I mean, those cattle are really good.
And to kind of finish up this segment, Brian, we're going to let you talk about, we mentioned we've brought in quite a few Tahoe sons, but maybe talk about two of our favorites from a dollar maternal standpoint that, you know, we think have a lot of usefulness if people are looking for maybe the next step beyond Tahoe.
It's kind of fun to talk about these because I wasn't directly involved with both of them in the acquisition, but I'm getting pretty familiar with them now. The first one is a bull called Stagecoach, and he came out of the Hoffman sale last spring, was highly sought after. We were fortunate enough to get the bull. Obviously, data says he can do a lot of things, and we talked about Tahoe doing a lot of things. Stagecoach is in that same realm. Better than average feet scores, high weeding and yearling EPDs. I think in terms of phenotype, that's where this bull's going to excel. People have already seen that. A little bit bigger foot, a little more bone, a little bigger hip, a little more rib. There's more bull here, and so we're pretty excited about what he has to offer. There's kind of a fun story behind this bull. There's some, I will say, several industry friends behind this bull that helped along the way to get him to where he was at, where we were able to acquire him. I think when you talk about heifer pregnancy, which I think is beginning to be a buzzword more so, this is one of those bulls that excels for that trait. And so if he's able to deliver that, this bull's got a long future. So that's Stagecoach. The other bull, a bull called Silverado. I'm going to pick on Joe for just a second. Joe's a good friend. Joe's a good cattle breeder. Joe bred this bull. And we're really liking what this bull has to offer. And I think in terms of pedigree, you say Tahoe, Niagara, and Prophet, and you throw those three names out in about any circle of Angus or even the commercial world today, and they recognize the names for making good, useful cattle. And that's where this bull really looks like he'll fit. He's moderate. He's sound. Those people that look at foot scores as something they need to latch onto, I really believe bulls like Silverado will carry the torch in the future when we talk about better feet in the Angus breed. He's bred that way. He expresses that when you look at his toes and his angles and all the joints. He's that kind of bull. Like I said, not very tall, but there's a lot of bull here. He ranks really high, Joe, for growth, which is pretty amazing in terms of his size. But I think that's a trend as far as being able to find those cattle that don't have to be exceptionally tall or huge, but they still have performance that carries to the next level. So two really good Tahoe sons.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that drew us to Silverado is the cow family is just phenomenal. Both the dam, the grand dam, there's a maternal sister that are just all phenomenal females.
We work really hard to get bulls that deliver cow traits. I mean, that's what most of our customers AI for, is to get those good cows. And so we're proud to work with these kind of bulls. We have a lineup that can deliver good cows, but I think in terms of looking down the road, these high dollar maternal bulls that we're talking about are there with the help of the Angus Breeds database to make the kind of cows that we can live with for a long time that are supposed to deliver the things we ask them to deliver.
Yeah, and I think, Brian, you make a great point. That's really why our commercial customers' AI is to create females. And so we really have tried to put emphasis on that. We could talk about these bulls all day. We're going to talk about some other really great dollar maternal bulls in some of our other segments, but really wanted to focus on these bulls that have driven a lot of sales and a lot of popularity within our lineup.